Disrupt yourself overview. One of the most difficult strategic choice you can make is to disrupt yourself. This is extremely costly and difficult to execute. Still, many companies are forced to do it, and you always have to think at what stage your company is and whether you don't have to go this way as well. If you have a nice cash generating business, you're unfortunately running the risk of being disrupted by some newcomer operating in a little bit different business model. And let's have a look at some examples, recent ones, that will show you why you sometimes have to disrupt yourself, although it won't cost you money. So first of all, we've got Blockbuster that was killed by Netflix. They disrupted Blockbuster by playing with the different model. So they mailed the DVD instead of having stores where you can rent them. They had late fees, and at some point they switched to streamlining, which was something that Blockbuster could not follow as they were too much depending on the late fees. The same we have observed with the taxi and cabs, Uber and Lyft, and their copies in other countries. They've offered a better value proposition, so you get the taxi faster, you don't have to call them, you just use the app at lower prices and no friction in usage. And we slowly but surely the same with the combustion car producers that are being disrupted by Tesla. That offers a totally new design done from scratch, value proposition pretty close, but the emotional value is much stronger. And obviously you've got all the software inside that enables you, for example, to have a self-driving feature. And the software also helps you constantly improve the product. You can immune yourself, obviously, against disruption by disrupting yourself. This, however, may have dire consequences. And in short term, you might be losing a lot of money, as it is shown here in the example. Once you achieve mastery in the new business model, you not only gain what you have lost, as it is shown here in the example, but you also start taking more and more market share from other competitors, and you start growing the whole market, attracting new users. And in this way, you can actually become much bigger than you were in the beginning. Therefore, when you are disrupting yourself, you should not look at the fact that you are going down in the short term, but actually look at the opportunity to grow much faster, to 10x your size and profitability. Disruption you can achieve in many ways. So the first one is simply to change your current business model. Obviously, this change is not as delicate and gradual as it was done in the case of transformation, but rather you do it drastically fast and in many elements of the business model. Now, another way to do the disruption is through entrepreneurship. So you try to combine the entrepreneurship and your corporate world and to develop internally products and ideas that may actually kill you. But since you do it internally, you can control it and you can benefit from this. Extremely good examples of successful entrepreneurships are obviously 3M, Google, and Apple. Another way to do the disruption is through purchasing and merging with your company potential competitors. You do it in such a manner to be controlling your competition, your potential disruptor, and you do it on a relatively early stage. Very good example of execution of such a strategy is obviously Facebook, which did it successfully with Instagram, and also Amazon, which was purchasing plenty of potential competitors in e-commerce stage, like also Zappos, diapers, etc. And finally, you can copy the competitor that may disrupt you if you don't manage to purchase him. A very good example of that is obviously Facebook and what he did with the Snapchat. Snapchat refused the purchase, so he simply copied all the important items into Instagram and later on into Facebook. Now, in this lecture, I will show you 3 examples of firms that were intentionally disrupting themselves. So first of all, we'll be talking about Altasian, which was using M&A as a way to achieve it. Then similar strategy done by Adobe. And finally, as an example of copying your competitors, I'll show you what Lufthansa did in order to protect themselves against low-cost carriers.